welcome back to another video. Today I have something really awesome to showcase for you guys. This here is a Snorlax VMAX deck that I've actually come out with. This is definitely very interesting for the fact that it's so generic, so it pretty much allows me to be very flexible in terms of choosing what's the best energy engine to actually go with to turbo it as fast as possible. So I did do a bit of experimentation to see which type of energy was going to work out for this deck, and I've come to find that fire was actually the best engine I could actually work with for this particular build. So with that being said, I will show you guys what this deck actually works with and how it actually turns out. I've also tried out a few interesting techs just to see if the deck actually works out, and surprisingly it does actually work out really well. So with that being said, I'm just going to show you guys the deck right now. So to begin, we're only going to be playing here 2 copies of Snorlax VMAX and 2 copies of Snorlax V. The reason why I'm only playing 2 copies of each is because firstly it is a evolution line, I guess, so with that being said, it is definitely going to be very difficult to pull off certain things. However, for energy cost, it is a decent energy cost. It's not the worst. I mean, obviously you want to be going for this one here, and Snorlax VMAX definitely does a fine job at dealing or dishing out damage, but at the same time it also has the highest HP in the entire game as well, so definitely do take advantage of that. Know that your opponent's definitely going to have quite a hard time actually taking it out. So with that being said, it is going to be our main engine or our main attacker for the deck itself. However, here's something really interesting for you guys to actually test out. Here is my 4 copies of Beedrill. Now this here is just a stage 2. Now you guys might be thinking, well, don't I actually have to play a full line of it? Do I have to play Kakuna as well? Do I need to play Weedle as well? You actually don't. You just need to play the Beedrills, because its ability is what you want to focus on. Elusive Master is an amazing ability. It essentially allows you to play this card from your hand, if it's the last card in your hand, directly onto your bench, and if you do, you get to draw 3 cards. Now it doesn't seem like much, but if you can actually work a deck to focus around this particular card, or at least allow this card to work its best, then it definitely is a very good engine to actually go off with, because you're essentially playing a deck where you're emptying out your entire hand, and as a result you could then maximize the potential use of Beedrill himself. Really good, and Beedrill also synergizes really well with the Snorlax VMAX simply because it deals 30 more damage for each of your benched Pokemon, meaning you want to get benched Pokemon as quick as possible, and having something like a Beedrill is definitely just really nice because it just plays itself right onto the bench really easily, and you get to draw 3 cards out of it as well. So quite fantastic of a card, and I totally recommend that more people actually try out this particular card. However, with that being said, we are going to be playing a plethora of other Pokemon just to add to the actual bench itself. We want to fill up our bench as much as possible. So we have cards like Cramorant, we have cards like Eldegoss, we have cards like Crobat, and we have cards like Dedenne GX. They're all really amazing cards, allowing you to essentially draw, search out your cards, or at least recycle certain things. So definitely all amazing cards here to work with, and I wouldn't change it for anything else. And finally, for a bit of a trainer engine search, we're also going to be playing here 2 Jirachis. Definitely very amazing, of course, and it just works out really well for the deck. However, as for trainers now, we're going to be playing mostly item cards because we can play as many as we want, whereas if we were to play supporter cards, we would only be allowed to play 1 per turn, which is definitely going to be a detriment for the deck itself. So because of that, I didn't want to play too many supporters. I wanted to play as many items, and by playing items you could pretty much empty out your hand as soon as possible, or well, you don't even have to do it as soon as possible. It should flow naturally, and that way when you actually pull out the Beedrill, you could actually do quite efficient plays there. So we're going to be playing 4 copies here of Quick Ball. We're also going to be playing 4 copies here of Great Ball, just to get to our Pokemon as soon as possible. And we're playing here the 2 copies of Communication. All are really amazing cards to get to your Pokemon to get whatever you actually need. However, with that being said, we also have to have ways to actually turbo our energy. So with that being said, I'm playing 4 copies here of the turbo patch. Really great card because even if it fails, it doesn't matter, because either way you'll empty out your hand, you just draw out more cards anyway with the Beedrill. This deck is meant to be an incredibly fast deck, so item cards are definitely very efficient. However, sometimes we do need to replenish our hands in some kind of way, so fire crystals definitely work. I did say that we are going to be playing a fire engine here, or fire energy engine, so with that being said, fire crystals will work, and I want to actually make use of the fire engine before it actually gets rotated out in August or September. So with that being said, it is definitely a key card to play in the deck. And I'm also going to be playing here the one great catcher. I just think that sometimes you just need cards to help you discard cards, and having a great catcher is definitely fantastic for the deck itself. For a bit of shenanigans and allowing you to manipulate your board in some kind of way, we're also going to be playing here the 4 copies of Switch. Switch is definitely really amazing. I would not play Scoop Up Net because we're playing too many GXs, so it really is quite situational to play Scoop Up Net, so as a result I just chose to play Switch instead. But with that being said, I'm also going to be playing here 2 air balloons. I feel like if you don't want to play the air balloons and you want to put in scoop up nets instead, you could actually do that, but for me I felt like the air balloons are definitely a bit more on the efficient side of things and definitely work out and flows with the deck a lot better than the scoop up nets. However, moving on, we're also playing some disruptions, so I'm playing here 2 crushing hammers. Just really nice here, and even if it fails, it doesn't matter because you just want to empty out your hand. We're also going to be playing here the 1 copy of Power Pad just because we're playing some supporters, very few of them, and we want to return them to the deck because they're actually quite good. Now, to get to our supporters as soon as possible, at least the specific ones we need, I'm going to be playing here 4 copies of the Pokegear 3.0, and like I said, even if you can't search for anything, it doesn't matter because when you're emptying out your hand, you're eventually just going to be able to play out the Beedrill anyway, so it definitely works out for the best. As for stadiums, of course, we're definitely playing 2 copies of Giant Hearth. Giant Hearth is definitely really amazing. You want to play 2 copies of it because you don't know if your opponent's going to get rid of one of them really early on, and even if you play one and you know your opponent's not getting rid of it, you could always just discard the other one as fodder anyway, so it doesn't really matter regardless. So 2 copies allows for a bit more consistency in this particular standpoint, and since we're playing fire, I think it would be very appropriate to play this particular card. However, we are still going to be playing some supporters, so with that being said, we're playing 2 bosses orders, allowing us to have a bit of control whenever we actually need, and to just finish off our opponents, but 2 is all that we really need in this case. And of course, you guys could already guess what the final card is. We're playing here the Heat Welder, 4 copies of it of course, really amazing, allows you to just turbo out your fire energies as soon as possible. Pretty much it could load up your Snorlax in just 1 turn, which is really amazing, and of course you get to draw 3 cards as well, so I think this card is definitely a really good card to play in the deck. It works out really well with the Beedrill as well, it can actually synergize. So with that being said, this is pretty much it for our supporter lineup. Let's move on to the energies. I don't think it's really hard to guess what we're playing for energy. We're essentially playing here 8 copies of Fire Energy just because it's really good here. All of this is definitely going to be quite crucial for the deck itself because we want to turbo out, but at the same time we don't want to clog up our deck too much with energies. I was thinking about playing more, but I figured it wouldn't really work out for the deck. You want to just play enough for you to actually execute your moves, and we are playing Fire Crystal anyway, allowing us to return them from the discard zone, so either way you are still able to benefit with this deck quite well. But with that being said, if you guys enjoyed this particular deck profile, then definitely drop a like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, it really does help. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I'll see you all next time.